going to meetups, or better yet, even hosting meetups, has been probably one of the most exponential things of how we've gone from 0 units to 125 rental units in 2.5 years. So I would definitely recommend going to meetup, because if you're thinking about jumping into real estate investing, you can meet so many awesome people who are actually doing it and willing to share you the good, the bad, the ugly, and the real tips about it. Just like our friend Tom Tran, who dove into what it's like to lose money in flips and how to make sure that you don't lose money too.
So if you flip houses in the Bay Area, be prepared to lose money. It's not always going to make money. Just like Marty flip houses too. And it's weird. So what we learned in the past couple of years, actually 5-10 years of flipping, the key is just buying in the right area. So what does that mean? Everyone says that location. But to give you an example, the house that we recently bought in Evergreen, we bought as is for 1.2. We just painted it, and then we put in new landscaping, and now it's paying over 1.6. So how did we do that? It's not us. I'm not a good flipper. I'm not a good contractor. I just bought in the right area that has good schools, that people like, that they don't mind fixing themselves. So all the product that you spent $100,000 to $200,000 on the remodel, we end up losing money. We end up losing money when we put out $200K, just like we did in El Cerrito. We added a bathroom. We made it nice, 10,000 landscaping, and we lost money. So it's not about the property, but what's more important is the location. Are the schools good? Are people willing to buy it as is for a high price? That's the key. So you can learn from us and not lose, right?
I totally respect it. Finding contractors is one of the most hardest parts of flipping. And so what he did was super smart. He made his own Facebook group to then source out his own subs. So that way he's saving that 20 to 30% margin general contractors are charging, but then he's also able to get recommendations and referrals quickly, because he is creating that contractor community.
We started a Facebook group called Bay Area Contractors, and now we're the biggest group in the Bay Area. So it's cool because we can see all the subs. We can see who the painters are. We can see the electricians are. So we started working with the subs directly. So never work with the contractor, because the contractor is marking it up at least 20 to 30%, right? So we go straight to the sub. So painter, electrician, and then once you understand what they do, you can hire them per day. So instead of hiring them for the project, you hire them per day. So we hire the painter at $200 a day. And let's say you get a painting bid for $5,000 for the outside, but it takes 1 week, right? Let's just say it takes a week. You hire one guy, $200 for 1 week. That's only $1,000 labor versus $5,000.
Wherever you are, you can do that too. Build or join and get involved into a community of investors and contractors. That way you can always have your cream of the crop. And the next one is, especially if you're thinking about investing out of state, is how do you actually find a good property manager, and how can you be a good client for them?
Why should I hire a professional property manager versus self-managing?
We have really great relationships with our vendors where we get discounts, and if we have emergencies, we're able to get them there the same day. Like just today around 3 o'clock Pacific time, which is 6 o'clock Eastern time, I had an AC go out. The tenant was really upset, and I was able to get my AC guy there on a Saturday night. So that's something that if you're self-managing, you might not have those relationships.
So Elenis, thank you so much for speaking. And she talks all about being a property manager in Florida for California owners. But yes, your property manager is everything. So if you can find a good property manager, or if you're thinking about investing in Florida, I think I got one for you. I'll link all their contact information down below, by the way. Okay, the most asked question ever is, should you put your property into an LLC? My CPA, Derek, is actually breaking that down, and here's his answer.
Should I put my property into an LLC to save taxes?
So I get this question a lot, and I have to disappoint them and tell them that no, it's not going to save you any taxes. An LLC is a vehicle to either hold your property or run your business through, but it's not going to save you any taxes. So if you're just doing it to save taxes, then I would say save your money. But it's more for liability protection and speak to your attorney, but if you really want that liability protection or some kind of privacy.
Okay, so you don't really need it for tax purposes, but for legal separations, might be a good idea. Consult with an attorney. One of the next questions that always comes up is, how much money can you expect to make on deals? And in this case, Tom breaks down what his minimum profit margin is to flip in the Bay Area.
What is the minimum spread? We like to look at $300K and up. So $100K for the remodel, $100K for closing costs, and then $100K for our biggest fund money, right? That's our profit. So we need to make at least $100K, because that $100K can disappear very quick. So you might think you're making 100K, and the next thing you know, your repairs went up. And then next your buyers are paying slightly less, 20K less than you anticipated. That 100K becomes 50K. So that's how we lose money, because our repairs goes up too high.
You know what's crazy to think about is that $100,000 profit. Yes, it sounds amazing, and basically one flip could replace your job. But then he's talking about how some change orders can quickly go from $20, $30, $40, $50,000 to wiping out the entire budget, to where that 50K profit is almost just a contingency budget. So something to keep in mind. Obviously, the margins are different depending on the area that you're investing in, because work, materials, labor, all that does vary. But it's always awesome to see what is the minimum amount of cash on cash return or ROI that someone's looking for on their deal. Okay, my favorite question that I asked personally was, being California money that gets some stigma, especially if you're investing out of state, is how can we differentiate ourselves to out-of-state property managers? And then Lennox breaks down that answer for us.
How can us as the California money differentiate ourselves from another California money?
So I think the ones that tend to get more deals are the ones that build a relationship with Michael, our business partner, our agent. So they'll go to him and they'll send him a property, and he might say, no, that property is no good, but here's another one that I recommend that fits your criteria, and they'll actually jump on it and put in an offer. So as long as you're placing offers, then you're taking action and taking the steps to getting a property. The ones that also have better luck, obviously, is cash, but not everyone has cash, but they'll use their HELOC, or they partner with family and do the cash strategy. But definitely it's like building a relationship with them, trusting whichever agent you use, building a relationship, trusting them.
Moving on to the next section, my business partner Ash is actually going to introduce the next panel, which for once, after hosting how many meetups, I'm finally a panelist on. And this panel is really fun because it's all about marketing and building a community.
We got this panel together because we know the power of community and networking and how much value it can bring to each other. So we have 3 folks today. We got Annie, Garrison, and Josh. Why did you choose those versus any other partner?
So Annie, who's a leader on one of the biggest real estate Facebook groups, Subtle Asian Real Estate, talks about why they picked Facebook.
So for Sarah, we're primarily on Facebook, and it was easier for us to pick up the pictures. We wanted like a private group where we can set some filters so people can questions. But our thing was we just wanted to encourage people to have a place where they can apply and give feedback on it.
Harrison now is breaking down a mastermind. So if you ever joined a mastermind yourself or thought about hosting your own, because some of those are $5, $10, $20, $50,000 just to get into the room of these deal makers and gurus, he breaks down his anti-guru approach and why he's found so much success within his mastermind.
I went into the mastermind route because I do business with all of my students. I'm not going to name any names or anything, but there's a big coaching program in multifamily, and if you pay $20,000 to be a member and I was your coach, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't want to be known as a cheerleader. I don't want to be known as a coach. I want to be known for doing deals, so I started my own mastermind and we charge very little, because the premise of the mastermind is let's do deals together, and that's how we're going to make money. And once I started that, my network started to grow, more deal flow started to grow.
And then, of course, I talk about why I prioritize YouTube. Hey, by the way, if you're on YouTube right now, please give this a like, and why you're choosing to hang out with me for 10, 15, or some people, an hour for the long podcasts.
Mine is the opposite. I posted my first YouTube video way before we bought our first property. And it was, did anyone watch Gary Vaynerchuk? Gary Vaynerchuk? So his motto is then document over create, right? And so I took the approach of I'm just going to document what I'm doing and what I'm learning, and let's just see what happens. And again, the first video is very cringy. I'm a full-time marketer and I put the mic in the wrong spot, but I still post it. I chose, to answer your question, Ash, YouTube, because the fact of the algorithm is that I would rather have someone watch a 15, at this point, some podcast or over an hour long. If they sit with you for an hour, we're friends, even if I've never talked to you before. It's the weirdest thing, right? But you feel like you know the other person, versus if you're only focusing on Instagram or on LinkedIn, maybe people consume you 30 seconds at a time. And so I would much rather have someone hang out with me for an hour than 30 seconds. So that's why I prioritize YouTube over everything else.
And And then a question about how we all stand out given the saturation of the market.
For somebody who's new, and let's just say I want to start a Facebook group or a mastermind or a podcast or a YouTube channel, there's so many people doing that. So how do you gain traction? Like you grew to 21,000 members. How did you do that? And how do you stand out?
We identified a need. So when we first started, it was right during shelter in place. It was a darkness kind of over our heads. And so we wanted to create a place where I can identify with other people with similar mindset so that we can virtually meet. And so having like a really specific niche is like, for us, we're very specific, like Asian American niche. We're mostly Californians, we're on the West Coast and East Coast, and so we have similar cultural backgrounds. So that was one way we got it. And so the other thing is just really consistent, or just regularly posting, giving your feedback on responding to other people's posts to just keep going with that. So I would say specialize in the market that we were looking to do.
Totally agree with Annie. You have to specialize. People have to know who you're talking to. And in my case, it is to marketers and to real estate investors. And if you want to be a little bit of both, even better, let's be friends. Shoot me a DM.
We all have short attention spans, etc. So you really got to be consistent with it. If you think if she would have started her Facebook group today, and in 3 months from now she has 1,500 people, she might give up. But you can't give up. You got to really realize what the big picture is, and you got to sit back and think about one person in this room can change my life. Legitimately, there could be one person in this room that has enough capital to fund my next deal. We're buying an assisted living facility right now in Fresno. There's one person in this room that could change my life from all kinds of different angles, but it's only one person. You don't necessarily need a 2 million person Facebook group. You don't necessarily need a mastermind with 150 people. You just need to do something. You need to be consistent with it. You need to do something that works for you and benefits your business. Every night before I went to bed for 2 hours, I got into the largest multifamily real estate groups. I answered every question that would be asked. I don't care if 43 other people already answered it with the correct answer. I'm like, yo, what she said? Because I want my name to pop up. Garrison Gilbert, Garrison Gilbert, Garrison Gilbert. Just like when brokers send us deals, you want to reply quick because I want them to see my name. And by doing that, I treated it like a job. I got a call from a very big name in this space who has a huge coaching program, and I thought I was going to get kicked out of his group. He's like, yo, can I get your phone number? I'm getting kicked down. He thinks I'm a know-it-all. But really what it was, he said word for word, this is the first words he's ever said to me. He goes, how the fuck do you know everything? And I thought, I'm definitely getting kicked out, right? But instead he said, do you want to come speak in front of 400 people in Los Angeles? I was like, let's do it. Let's do it.
I completely agree with Garrison's advice that you only need one, and here's my reply.
I posted a video that was horrible, but because the only thing I wanted was, could I find, to Garrison's point, one person? Would my dad, would my uncle, would my cousin, would my friend invest with me because of the video? And that's all I wanted. I didn't need 1,000, 10,000 followers. It was just one. And that's my expectation is one deal, one person couldn't unlock everything, and you don't know what that next unlock is, and then what 10x is to after. Post the other video. It's good.
And yes, it is a lot of work to post on social media, but is it worth it? 100%. There is no other platform where you can spend 30 minutes, an hour a day and reach thousands, tens of thousands, millions of people for free. If you are not on it right now, you really only need to reach one person. That one person is your unlock and why it's totally worth it. If you found this video helpful, then you should definitely come to our meetups. One, because you can meet cool people who are actually doing deals and investing in real estate, talking about all the craziness that happens and building wealth with other people is way more fun when you do it together versus solo. So, you want more information about our meetups? It's linked on my website down below. We host in-person meetups every single month in the Bay Area. And again, my name is Josh Baldovino. I'm a marketer and I'm a real estate investor. And if you found this helpful and you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit subscribe. I will see you all on the next one. Cheers.